aren't you?
Okay, we have started a screen recording over here already. And the last time I changed it, I messed it up, so we're going to leave it going. It's going to have a weird... And now we're starting... See, we did this exactly backwards, and I hate messing it up backwards. I'm going to try and get started back on track again since we recorded everything. All right. Now, back to you, little boy. Last time you were in here, you caused problems when we were recording. It's a good thing you're cute and you jump up and down like that. You can't tell, but I'm talking to a 9-month-old. He's so cute, I might want to go kiss him. That's right. All right, so if you hear some screaming going on, nobody's getting hurt. It's just a 9-month-old having a good time. All right. Yeah, now with all that being said, okay, today is Sunday, May 7th, 2023, and this is my little Bible study, and we are on our Sunday night edition, and we were back on track, so that means we were in the book of Genesis. It's been a while since we've been here. All right, we had a little BV got preempted in the last week or last couple of weeks, so it was a fun one. You haven't checked it out, it's about cherubims inside the book of Exodus, so it's pretty interesting, I think. It really was. It was a fun one. All right. So now we're getting back to business in the book of Genesis. We're going to pick it up in chapter 19, verse 1. Since it's been a while, let's talk about it. Back in verse 18, remember God meets with Abraham on the plain of Mamre. We've had one little adventure with Lot already. If you remember, he's sent his camp looking at Sodom. He's whatever's going on in Sodom. See, he's already starting trouble. Whatever's going on in Sodom, Lot wants to be a part of it. All right. Now, you remember, God judges your heart more than anything. And so he's obvious that he wants to go to Sodom. There's things there that he's interested in. All right, you break that up however you want. All right, you're going to find out tonight that Lot's not one of my favorite biblical characters, and we're going to explain a little bit why. But that's all right. He's still one of the brothers. He can go to one end of the country, I'll go to the other, and we don't have to meet in the middle. Works out just fine by me. All right, his name's in the book, mine's not. We'll go with that. All right, so let's pick it up there now. Remember, the Lord and two angels had already met with Abraham, so they'd already just said, I'm not hiding what I'm here to do, Abraham. I'm here to destroy Sodom. Abraham tries to strike a bargain with people, right? 50, less and less and less, all the way down to just a few. But the only one left is Lot. Now in the last chapter 18, the last verse, the Lord leaves. There were 3 of them, there's 2 left. And that's where we pick it up on chapter 19 with Lot. All right. Now Lot's in Sodom and he's a judge there. All right, so that's where we pick it up. Hi, little one. All right. Verse 1, and there came 2 angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing those, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. All right, Lot knows exactly who these 2 are. All right, they're not a mystery to him. All right, this is not angel worship; it's just a sign of respect. Verse 2, and he said, behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night. And wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we abide in the street all night. All right. So these angels, they know why they're there. They know they're there to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot's the one that doesn't get it yet. All right. And Lot's wanting them to come in because he knows what goes on in the streets in Sodom and Gomorrah tonight. All right. So he's kind of worried about them. All right. But it shouldn't be them that he's worried about. All right, let's just get it that way. All right. Verse 3, and he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in to him and entered into his house. So he talked them into it. No, don't stay in the street. Come in. You don't know the bad things that happen here. And he made them a feast, and they did break unleavened bread and did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all people from every quarter. Now, not that everybody in Sodom and Gomorrah, but every quarter of Sodom had representatives in this group, is what it's saying. Listen to what it says. Verse 5. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came in to thee this night? All right, and I'll stop right there. Now, they know that these men came through the gate. They know they're strangers. They know they're pretty. All right, let's put it that way. They don't look like the rest of the people around about them, so they know they're special. Right? bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Now, I need to draw a better picture than that. This need to be explained what that means. Now, this is a little bit above just, it's not just talking about homosexuality. This is talking about something a little bit even worse. These people want to molest an angel of God. And so they're just turning it up just a bit. They might not know what they're doing, but nonetheless, that's what's happening. And Lot went out the door unto them and shut the door after him. So Lot goes out to deal with these people. Now, Lot knows these people. He's there among them. Yeah. All right. So he knows what these people are up to. That's not a big secret. All right. And he said, verse 7, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters which have not known men. All right. Now that means they're virgins, which means they're not wed, is all that simply means. Now, he has other daughters that are wed. I pray you, bring them out unto, that have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. Now, this is as close as I'm going to come to defending Lot here, all right? The tradition that still exists in this region that even if an enemy falls under your home, you're obligated to no end to protect them. All right? Well, that's as close as I'm going to get to protecting Lot, to defending Lot on this. Now, it could be that Lot simply understands that these men are not there interested in women. All right, so he's just trying to placate it. And maybe even the daughters understand this. They don't really want us. That's not their thing. Yeah. Okay? That may be part of it too. It may be this tradition. All right? But either way, I don't think Lot's playing this right. If he understands these are angels and they're here doing the Lord's business, all right, he has the best army in the world right there in his home. Yeah. And saying, won't you 2 come with me? Let's go out and finish this. They're here to destroy Sodom anyway.
And they want to see you.
That's right. They're there to destroy Sodom anyway, and Lot's aware of this by now, all right? So I don't think Lot's playing his cards the right way, but nonetheless, this is the way he played it. All right. Verse 9, and they said, stand back. They said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, all right? And he will needs be a judge. Now, will we deal worse with thee than with them? And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. So they're not listening to anything Lot's got to say. Verse 10, but the men put forth his hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. So the 2 angels, they just grabbed Lot and pulled him back inside. Verse 11, and they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness. This is how they kick off the end of Sodom. Both small and great, so that they were wearied themselves to find the door. Can't get in. Busted in, right in on top of them. But immediately they're smote with blindness and they're trying to stumble around in the dark to figure out how we get back out the door. All right, like I said, this just marks the beginning of the end. All right? And the man said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides, these are 2 angels, hast thou here any besides sons-in-laws, or, the sons that married your other daughters, and thy sons and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place, all right? For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord. And the Lord has sent us to destroy it. All right, so he's done with Sodom and Gomorrah. He came, he took a look. Remember, he was talking with Abraham. So he was there scouting the area already. He already knew what was going on. Decision had been made. He come to tell Abraham. Abraham just makes his defense to try to get his nephew out of Sodom. Right. All right. Now, Lot has just said he's got other daughters that are married. He's got sons-in-laws too, not just the 2 virgin daughters that he had. He's got other daughters, but they're with other families now. They belong to another household completely. So it's up to them. And then Lot tells them what's going on, right? And so it's up to them whether they leave or not. All right? Verse 14. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. Just like I just said. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-laws. They just didn't believe him. It was like, what are you talking about? You're just a crazy old man.
Right.
All right. So they mocked him in the process. So Lot tried to do him the right thing. All right. But they didn't believe the messenger.
Yeah.
All right. All right, verse 15. And when the morning arose, the angels hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife, thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed by the iniquity of the city. Because you stay here, you're going to die. All right, and be destroyed with Sodom and Gomorrah. And while he lingered, the man laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters. And the Lord, being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him outside the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plains. So don't stay on this plain anywhere. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. Now, it says right there, he tells him to get out of the city and go to the mountain. Now, the problem is, Lot and his bunch are city boys. They have no idea what to do in the mountains to survive. All right, Lot's aware of this. He's like, this is not my cup of tea being up in the hills. Now, anybody from the hills knows well, good and well how to survive in the mountains, right? If you remember from other studies, well, God sent Elijah up into the wilderness, fed him there, by the ravens brought him food, right? So he says, get to the mountains, right? Now remember also, with the coming events in Jerusalem in the future, there'll be a time, remember, from the book of Revelations where it says to flee Jerusalem, get out of there, get up into the mountains, right? When they say those mountains, well, you hear the word West Bank, that's what it means, those mountains in Judea. And it's not a bank, it's a whole mountain range. It doesn't mean just one side of a river, right? There's a whole region involved, all right? But nonetheless, he tells them, once you remember that, he tells them to go to the mountains. All right, lest you'll be consumed. Verse 18, and Lot said unto them, oh, not so, my Lord. I don't want to go. I'm seafied. I don't know what to do in the hills. Behold now, my servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. So there is no doubt that you have mercy on me and saved me from all this. Yes. All right? I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. He go up there, a bear going to eat me, I don't know. You know, he's kind of scared to go up in the hill. Maybe Bigfoot going to take him away. I don't know. Chupacabra show up, I don't know. But either way, he's afraid. Yeah, I see you starting trouble again, aren't you? All right. So he's really afraid to go up into the hills, right? Verse 20, behold now, this city is near to flee unto. It is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? It's just a small little town. It's not a big city like Sodom and Gomorrah, but let me go there instead of up into these mountains, all right? And my soul shall live. 21, he said unto me, see, I have accepted thee concerning these things also, and I will not overflow this city for the which thou hast spoken. So I'm going to leave this place out of it. Right? Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou hast come thither. So until you get out of here, I can't do nothing. Right? Therefore, the name of the city is Zoar. And we've talked about Zoar before, right? It's just it means little, a little town or a little city. All right? So he's saying there, please don't send me up in the mountains where a bear's going to eat me. I need to go down to the city where I know how to make a living. Yeah. All right, and that's really what Lot's concerned with. All right, so that brings us now to the destruction of Sodom. Listen to what it says. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered to Zoar. And the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. This is just a good way to say judgment. But he destroyed the entire place, the entire plain that they were on, right? And they overflowed these cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the city, that which grew upon the ground. So this was kind of like, more like a poison well kind of attack. It's a slash and burn, no crops, no vegetation left. All the cities destroyed. It's over, it's done. You can imagine people from all over the area seeing what's happening in that area. You wouldn't have to be there to know that whatever's going on over there is not good.
Yeah.
And it's going to get around real quick about the destruction, right? Verse 26. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. All right? Now, this region is known for having a lot of salt in the area. And through the natural processes, this salt builds up over and over and becomes pillar-like.
Yeah.
All right, part of the assumption that went with that this has to do with this event. I don't believe necessarily that has anything to do with it, but I do believe that this was what happened to her in that region, and that was the thing that they could go, oh, okay, remember what happened here. Look at the pillars. This woman became a pillar of salt just like this, just like you see around me. I think that draws up a lot more. There was also an offering made of salt in the Old Testament, and it was for the poor, so that even the very poor could have an offering to be made. So there's a lot of salt ties in this into a lot of other ways than just as a punishment for this woman. Verse 27, and Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. Right now we went from Lot to Abraham. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up the smoke of a furnace. You could tell from a long way away that there was no good going on at Sodom and Gomorrah. All right? And it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities which where Lot dwelt. Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, little city boy wanting to move to a little town instead of go off in the mountains where he would be safe. Listen, because it's going to come back to catch him. Listen to what it says in the next verse. And Lot went up of Zoar and dwelt in the mountains. Wait a minute. Why? You think maybe Lot got to thinking about what he just saw? Yeah. And remember what the angel said, if you want to be safe, you go up into the mountains, and you idiot made this argument about going to those little towns where you'd be safe. So maybe Lot's just getting a little cold feet right here and say, okay, wait, I should have listened to begin with. This is a pattern we've seen in that book of Exodus, as a matter of fact, with the children of Israel, right? Listen to what it says. And Lot went out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. So it convinced him, I go live with Bigfoot. So it scared him so bad, he was willing to abandon his city life and just become a farmer if he needed to be. We're going to learn a new way of life because this is not working out so good. Now, here we have some more things. Now, these girls, they're going to get involved here. This is a big thing here. And the firstborn said unto, let's go back to verse 30. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Now what it's saying is that there's other people, but we don't have any of our people left. Yeah. All right, so this whole line dies with Lot, is what they're really worried about, okay? Because they're going to take drastic measures to preserve it. Yeah. All right, verse 32. Come, let us make our father drink wine. So they get their daddy drunk. All right, he went drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve the seed of our father. So they're worried that their people are going to die. All right. Now, be careful about judging these people. Remember, there was a lot of things went on. They'd been in Egypt, or they will go to Egypt. They're going to see different lineages married real close to each other. And as of right now, there's not been any law given about this. All right. I think I made mention before that Abraham and Sarah are half brother and sister. Well, I couldn't remember where it was. Well, it's in the book of Genesis. We're going to get to here in a minute. So that kind of thing was something that went on because of different environmental causes, like this one. There are times. And later it'll be, I think about if God would have allowed it to continue, what would have happened to the line? It would have died, right? Yeah. So he made some laws after a while to make sure that they stayed separated and them to continue to thrive. Just to break it down in the 21st century the right way. Verse 33, and they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down nor when she arose. All right, it's a lot of good and drunk. All right, and it came to pass on the morrow, the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also. 2-day bender. All right, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. All right, now they're going around Lot to do this. So they know Lot's not going to agree to it because they're getting him drunk. Yeah. Now, I've been pretty drunk, but I've never been drunk enough that this would have happened ever. Yeah. All right, so you can put that however you want. It was a different time and different things, but alcohol is not an excuse for your actions, and being drunk and having an incestuous affair with your daughter is not an excuse for being drunk at all. I just want to let everybody know where I fall on incest. Just if it needed to be stated, just before somebody says something weird anyway. You know how people get. All right. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down nor when she arose. So again, the second thing happened again. Same thing. Verse 36, thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And I know a lot of people get upset when you start talking about church and these kind of things, but hey, if God's word's too good for you, then I don't know what kind of church you've come from. All right, so just deal with it. That's just what's here. Yeah. All right. And the firstborn bare a son. And the firstborn bare a son and call his name Moab. The same as the father of the Moabites to this day. And we've talked a lot about the Moabites. They're some of the ones that the children of Israel, out of the book of Exodus, take over lands from, right? All right. And the younger, she also bore a son, and call his name Ben-Ammi, the same as the father of the children of Ammon, unto this day. All right? So they know who these people were that came out of the relationship of Lot. All right? And they're actually stayed central players in the game, all in the book, all through most of the Bible, or the Old Testament anyway, or much of the Old Testament, I should say. All right? Very interesting kind of little scenario going on there. Now, I don't want to come down too hard on these girls because their heart's in a good spot. They're worried about preserving their lineage. They want to save their people for another day. And I'm sure this was something that they had heard of or have seen done before in the past. In one place or another, right? Like I said, it doesn't become a law until later in the book of Leviticus and Deuteronomy, all the books of the law, right? Begin with that. So there you go with Lot. Now, like I said, it seems to me like Lot, they're going to hear me say a lot of good things about him. I think he should have left his daughters around with 2 angels and just buckled up, girded up everything and went to work. Just stood with 2 angels and leveled Sodom. That'd have been a lot better story. But nonetheless, he has to deal with the fact that he's the one that gave up his 2 daughters. But like I said, his protection may have been in the fact that Lot understood what they were really there for, and they weren't interested in his daughters. They did pretty good anyway. They came through it. So maybe Lot was just a little more wise about it than I am. All right, and he's just dealing the hand that got dealt to him. All right, but like I said, I'd have girded up, said, let's go. Let's clean this place out. But nonetheless. All right, let's go on to the next chapter. All right, because now we come to Abimelech, Abraham. All right. Oh, you little mess maker. Okay, now, Abraham and Sarah, if you remember back before his name was changed, it was Abram and Sarai, right? They did a little stint in Egypt. And in there, they played this little game where he said, okay, Sarah's beautiful. Abraham's like, if they know I'm your husband, they're going to kill me and take you to wife. Yeah. All right, so let's just say that you're my brother and I'm your sister. And that way, your beauty protects both of us. Maybe these people were smarter than that. No problem. All right, but if you remember when they were in Egypt, when it came to light what had happened, well, the men in Egypt were very upset with Abraham because of what he had done. Because they had respect for God and they knew that that he just about caused them to really mess up. All right, well, here we go again. All right, listen to what it says. Verse 20, verse 1. And Abraham sojourned from thence toward the south country, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech the king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. All right? So again, Abraham's up to his same old way of protecting him. Yeah. Now I think that really means Sarah is just absolutely, just utterly beautiful. Every man that sees this woman would eventually want to kill Abraham and take this woman. All right, and Abraham, he's scrambling to stay alive just to keep that from happening. All right, so he's just kind of dealing with what it says. Now, like I said, this is not a total lie. Listen to what he says. And God came, now, so he's taking Sarah. He's taking Sarah away from Abraham, taking back to the palace. All right, and they're there. And God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art but a dead man. All right, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. This is Abraham's woman you've taken, his wife. Now listen to what it says. But Abimelech, and listen to what it said. But Abimelech came not near her. He didn't go after Sarah. He didn't try to lie with her and have sex with her. All right? He came not here and said, Lord, wilt thou slay also the righteous nation? And he said, I didn't touch her. Right, to destroy us would not be fair. We're not guilty in this. Yeah. Right? Abraham and Sarah lied to me. Okay? And he said, not unto me, she is my sister. And she said, even she herself said, he is my brother. So both of them were in on it. They both lied to me. All right? In the integrity of my heart and the innocency of my hands have I done this. He said, you know, in my heart, I'm telling you the truth. Right? And you know I haven't touched her. Listen to what he says. And God said unto him in a dream, yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart. I know that you didn't know. You thought you didn't know they were lying. You said, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me, therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. And he said, I knew you were innocent, so it's me that kept you from doing these things, all right? So I know you didn't have nothing to do with it. I know Abraham and Sarah just lied to you and you just kind of got caught in it, all right? And so he's confessing it. Now, therefore, restore the man his wife. All right? So just take Sarah back to Abraham. That's all you got to do, all right? For he is a prophet. Right, so he's recognized him as a prophet now. And he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, then thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that is thine. So you don't run it back, I'll just kill you. I'll kill you and everything you know. All right, so that's a pretty good threat. Now, I think Abimelech seems to be a pretty good guy, and he didn't need the threat. I think he would have legit gave her back, right? Right. Listen to what it says. Therefore, Abimelech arose early in the morning and called all his servants, right, got everybody that works for him together, and told all these things in their ears. And the men were sore afraid, all right? Because why? Because Sodom and Gomorrah had just been destroyed. Annihilated. All right. Abraham was the number one witness. He was right. He saw everything. He was closest to it. All right, and yet he survived. And you have Elohim appearing to Abimelech in a dream, telling him everything that had happened. All right. And that he wasn't. So they were kind of worried. They were going to worry that they were going to mess up and just get destroyed. All right, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, what hast thou done unto us? He said, why do you about made us mess up big time? All right. And what have I offered thee, and thou hast brought unto me and unto my kingdom a great sin? You just about screwed up and about cost us. Yeah. All right. So again, you got another king mad at Abraham because he lied. All right. But yet at the same time, Abraham and Sarah both remained together and alive. All right. So either way, you can see you cut that up however you want. Yeah. But either way, God protects Abraham and Sarah for a reason. All right. All right. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what sayest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place. Said, I didn't think God dwelt here, so I was protecting my own butt. Yeah. Because nobody else is gonna. Yeah. All right. And I didn't know that you had any fear of God. How was I supposed to know that? All right. And they will slay me for my wife's sake. So I was afraid you didn't. I didn't know you feared God. And I was afraid that since you didn't fear God, that you would just kill me and be done with it, and take away that beautiful woman again. Whew! Sometimes there's trouble. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Nobody send me any hate mail. I don't care. All right, verse 12. And yet, indeed, she is my sister. Okay, listen to what this says. All right. And yet, indeed, she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. All right, so Abraham and Sarah are half brother and sister. All right? And she became my wife. So both times Abraham and Sarah were not actually lying, quote unquote. They just weren't telling, quote unquote, all the truth. All right. Now, you break that up here. Half a lie is still a lie. but nonetheless. But God sees, obviously, that God sees favor in these people and continues to protect them nonetheless. Right? 13. And they're trying. They're trying. They're working with the hand that they got dealt, and they're just surviving, just like everybody else in the time would have been doing. Right? And it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, this is thy kindness which thou shalt show unto me. Every place whither we shall come, say to me, he is my brother. All right, so tell the truth everywhere you go. All right, because Abimelech's just letting him have free run with it. All right, so I think that goes to say a lot that Abraham and Sarah were very, very personable people too, because they're dealing with these people and they seem to be very well liked, both of them. I mean, they sure don't come out of a sticky situation smelling bad, so they have some charisma about them and some ability to survive on their own. Right. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and the manservants and the women servants and gave them unto Abraham and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, behold, my land is before thee, dwell where it pleaseth thee. Just have fun. You're here, enjoy.
Why not?
Right. And unto Sarah he said, behold, I have given thy brother, or her husband, however you want to break it up, 1,000 pieces of silver. So he's making good on the insult. All right. Behold, he is to thee as a covering of the eyes. All that really means is anybody who sees you will leave you alone because of Abraham. He's a covering for you. Your beauty's fine. You can be safe. Abraham in my kingdom, Abraham will make sure you're safe in my kingdom, is what he's really saying. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife. You didn't hear this part. This is what was going on kind of behind the scenes. And his maidservants, and they bare children. All right, because from the time that Abimelech took Sarah, nothing in Abimelech's kingdom was able to conceive and bear children. All right, so that tells you what kind of a sign it was, right? For the Lord had fast closed up the wombs of all the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. All right, so God was really, so Abimelech really understood then what he really meant by all of it. All right, Yeah, so there was a lot more going on kind of behind the scenes than what we were privy until the very end. So from the time that Abimelech steals Sarah, nobody was able to conceive in Abimelech's kingdom in his whole household. So that was kind of a neat way to kind of protect Sarah right there and Abraham. And you can understand then how come Abimelech's really paying respect to Abraham. Okay?
I understand.
That's right, I understand. And of course, just like he said, tell my prophet he'll pray for you when you give her back, and then these things will be restored. And so they were, just like you said. All right. Now, next week, we're going to get into the birth of Isaac. Finally, we get to somewhere into the tribes of Israel, because up so far, we've not even talked at all about the tribes yet. But we're in the book of Genesis, all right? But up next is Isaac in chapter 20. And we're moving right along. All right, that's all I got for tonight. All right, you guys have a good night. Turn this off.
Oh,